Shalom Aleichem, Assalamu Alaikum, Irini Mazisu, Pax Vobiscum, peace be unto you and welcome to 2 Samuel chapter 7. There are 29 verses. Okay, we are actually not even in the right book right now. In any case, when we get there, there are a lot of differences, needless to say. Okay, so first one is verse 1. An inheritance versus rest. Verse 2, midst of a tent versus within curtains. Verse 5, significant difference. You shall not build me a house. So this is Adonai responding to David. You shall not build me a house. Straightforward. Masoretic, not so. Shall you build me a house for me to dwell in? That is a rhetorical question. But it's not an explicit no. It's not a hard line no. Verse 7. This is proof that the translators decide where punctuation should be. And here in the Septuagint, it makes more sense. Let's read in the Masoretic first. It's a long run-on sentence. Whereas I have not dwelt in any house since the time that I brought up the children of Israel out of Egypt, even to this day, but have walked in a tent and in a tabernacle. Verse 7. In all the places wherein I have walked with all the children of Israel, spake I a word with any of the tribes of Israel, whom I commanded to feed my peoples, Israel, saying, why build you not me a house of cedar? That's one long sentence. In the Septuagint, makes more sense. Let's read it from verse 6. For I have not dwelt in a house from the day that I brought up the children of Israel out of Egypt to this day, but I have been walking in a lodge and in a tent, wheresoever I went with all Israel, period. Have I ever spoken to any of the tribes of Israel, which I commanded to tend my people Israel, saying, why have you not built me a house of cedar? So you can see it makes more sense. It's more compartmentalized. That's verse 7. Verse 10. Israel will no longer be distressed, shall be no more distressed by their enemies. Verses, they shall move no more. They're going to stay in the same place. Significant difference in this verse 10, talking about the son of iniquity shall no more afflict them. This is possibly an allusion, a foreshadowing of the son, I should say the man of sin, who is the Antichrist. So this is possibly an end-time prophecy. In the Masoretic, we don't get that sense because it says the children of wickedness afflict them anymore. So this is simply talking about the children of, how do they say it? In any case, one of my videos, I mentioned these children, rebellious children. I seem to have forgotten. It's not the children of Baal. It's like I want to say like a entity. I can't seem to find it right now. Okay, well, in any case, I don't remember the name. But they look like demonic angel creatures, angelic creatures. I'm going to get obsessed with this. I need to find out the name. So just excuse Belial, children of Belial. So I think that's how a lot of people would render children of wickedness. Okay, continuing on. Verse 11. I will versus I have caused. I will give you rest versus I have caused you to rest. So again, this seems to continue on the prophetic nature of this section. Big difference. It says that you shall build a house to him versus he will make you a house, David. No, you will build a house to him. Maybe not directly, as in David himself, but his descendant, Solomon, his son. Verse 12, even your own issue, verses, shall proceed out of your bowels. Okay, so technically he doesn't come out of his bowels, but he does come out of his blood, his seed. Verse 13, his throne versus the throne of his kingdom. So I will set up his throne forever. This is possibly a messianic prophecy. Again, end time. Verse 15, significant difference here. As I took it from those whom I removed from my presence. So Adonai is alluding to Saul, who was removed from the presence of Adonai, versus Saul, naming him by name, whom I put away before you, before David, not before Adonai. Verse 16, his house, versus your house, your throne. So his house and his throne. Again, messianic prophecy. How can Solomon's kingdom be made sure and be ever before Adonai forever? That's impossible. No human king can maintain that. That's only if it's the Messiah himself, who is immortal, who is not made of flesh and blood, who has eternal life. Verse 18, a huge difference. A big difference, potentially a huge difference. It says here, David expressing, O Adonai, my Adonai, and what is my house that you have loved me hereto? You have loved me. He senses, he's aware of just how much Adonai loves him, making this very powerful statement, this promise to him, this statement that your kingdom, your house will be forever before me. It's a covenant, you could say. How is it expressed in the Masoretic text? O Adonai, Yah, what is my house that you have brought me here to? So that's just obvious. It's self-evident. He's brought him to that moment in time. But no, it's deeper than that. Adonai loves him. It's a relationship between God and man. Verse 19, I was very little before you. So David is humble. He's saying, I was little before your sight. Versus, this was yet a small thing in your sight to do this, to make these promises. Is this the law of man? Versus, is this the manner of man? So that's a difficult one to understand. I'm not sure how to understand that. Leave it at that. We don't know everything on this channel, but we try to investigate. So that one is a question mark. It will remain so until further later date. Verse 20, O Adonai, my Adonai again, versus Adonai Yah. Verse 21, for your servant's sake, versus for your word's sake. So he's not doing it not just for his own word, but for his servant's sake, because he loves David. That's the focus of this narrative right now. Verse 22, that he may magnify you, O my Adonai. So he's saying, me, David, I will magnify you. Versus, you are great. He's already magnified. He doesn't need David. I'm not saying he needs David, but that's just how it's expressed, that David wants to magnify the name of Adonai, the reputation of him. Verse 23, there's an omission of was his guide. So Adonai was his guide, Israel's guide. And he worked mightily and nobly, not just great things and amazing things. Significant difference, so that you should cast out nations and their tabernacles from the presence of your people, versus for your land. He did it, the works for his land before your people. Not so much for Israel, not so much to cast out nations and their dwellings from the presence of Israel. Verse 24, prepared versus confirmed. So he's prepared a people, prepared his people, Israel, versus confirmed Israel. So he had to double check, are they really my people? He confirmed it. Verse 25, this is actually confirmed. Confirm the word forever, which you have spoken concerning your servant. David speaking to Adonai. Versus establish it forever. Okay, those are pretty close, in all honesty. Verse 26, addition of the majority of this verse, everything after magnified. This is all added. I'm not going to read that. Seems to be redundant. Verse 27, this is a difficult one. It says, you have uncovered the ear of your servant. So you've revealed in the ear of your servant that I will build you a house. So these are secrets being revealed, former name of this channel, to David. In the Hebrew, it's Gala Ozen. So this could be a Hebraism, Hebraic idiom, Hebrew idiom saying that I have revealed inside your ears the following. Verses in the Masoretic, you have revealed to your servant. Okay, it's similar, but I still find it quite different because revealing something versus uncovering the ear of your servant, just more poetic, I believe. Verse 28, promised versus spoken. So where's the promise? I believe that is, can't seem to find it. Okay. Verse 28. Okay, it's in the previous verse. Spoken, promised. Okay, so that's the Septuagint that is saying it's spoken, but the Masoretic is saying it is promised. But in all transparency, the word that is being used in Hebrew can mean either or. These are simply connotations. Verse 29, the last verse, says, begin and bless the house of your servant, versus let it please you to bless the house of your servant. And then the last part is an omission of so as to continue forever. Why is that important? Because he's saying the blessing of the house, and the Masoretic, it's saying this, David's house will be blessed forever. But it's not simply that it's blessed forever, because in the Septuagint it is saying your blessing will, the blessing that Adonai gives to David is that his house will continue forever. The blessing is this, David's house will continue forever. How is that so today? Through the Messiah, Yeshua, up at the right hand of the Father. So that is all for this video. Thank you very much for your time. Until next time, I bid you all Shalom Aleichem, Assalamu Alaikum, Irini Mazisu, Pax Vobiscum, peace be unto you, and Maranatha. Oh, and just for the record, this is called the Sudra, or at least I tried to emulate what a Sudra is. It's an ancient Jewish headdress that it predates the kippah or the yarmulke. So I just found out about that recently, even though I've seen many pictures of it. Okay. All right. Shalom Aleichem. Assalamu Alaikum. Maranatha.